Greetings, everyone! Welcome to Discussing Tabletop. It is, of course, May 16th, 2020. I hope everyone is having a very fine day. This is going to be episode 148. We've done a billion of these things, but we continue to enjoy doing them and talking about tabletop stuff and teaching you about tabletop stuff. So, Joe, how has your week been?
It's been a week.
That kind of is the answer to most things nowadays. You know, it's just been another week. Like, you can't really, like, jump for joy or something, and it's just a lot of crap going on. And I'm pretty sure Nightbot's broken, because I haven't been able to get the docket to show up in chat.
Oop.
Unless you want to try typing it in exclamation point docket, it might pop up for you. Or if you pop it up and it doesn't show up in my chat that I've got. No? Nightbot seems to be broken.
It just comes up as exclamation point docket.
I tried to fix it there a minute. Yay. Okay, so, I mean, let's go over the docket, because we do have a pretty... It seems like a pretty big docket, but it's not nearly as intense as it sounds like, because there's going to be a couple combined things and smaller things here. D&D has an Unearthed Arcana. It's their subclasses revisited. They're kind of editing a few of the subclasses. Pathfinder is talking about their Bestiary too. That's an important thing to kind of talk about. More monsters. But PaizoCon has also put out its schedule, so we want to talk about that briefly. Twilight 2000 returned to a new edition of a classic RPG. Excuse me. Then, of course, Small World 2, an online a app version of Small World that it seems to be a sequel to Small World is getting a beta. Also, there is a Small World of Warcraft for more Small World news. The liminal book Pax Londinium is out by Modifius. I do want to talk about like how we're getting more of these online cons, because Renegade Game Studios has announced Renegade Con virtual. Maximum Apocalypse, there's a quick start out. I want to talk about that because the company, which is an old friend of Rock Manor Games, who's a friend of the show's, has actually sent me a preliminary copy of their RPG before the Kickstarter. So I don't know if they'd be for or against us streaming it. We'll find out. I'll have to talk to them. I haven't messaged them back. But at very least, we'll test it out and let you know about it before the Kickstarter starts. And then finally, we'll kind of end up with another RPG to talk about, Altered Carbon by Renegade Game Studios, so we're going to talk about for a second. So the subclasses. Now, Joe, you seem to have some very big, words to say about the first one of here, because there's four subclasses. The Phantom, which is a rework of the Revived. The Genie, which is a rework of the Noble Genie. And the Order of Scribes is a reimagining of the Archivist. All subclasses of Phantom for Rogue, the Genie for Warlock, and Order of Scribes for Wizard.
Yeah, so in your Thursday campaign, Children of Wrath, I'm playing a revised Rogue.
Yeah.
And I don't like the Phantom. Power set's completely different. And it doesn't even feel like the same class. There's some touches on it, you walk a fine line between life and death, risking their own lives and taking the lives of others. But the other one was more like you were almost reincarnated. So it's like this one's more like you're stealing the souls of the dead to use. It feels a lot more kind of an evil-driven class in that way.
Well, I would compare it. Maybe it's supposed to be comparing it to something like those that would use Speak with the Dead, rather.
Well, no, because your 9th level ability is Tokens of the Departed. You take a piece of their soul.
Huh? Yeah,
And you get benefits from doing it. While the soul trinket is on your person, you have advantage on death saving throws, constitution saving throws, as your vitality is enhanced by life essence within the object. You can only have a maximum of soul trinkets equal to your proficiency bonus, and you can't create more when you're at your maximum. But as an action, you can destroy one of your soul trinkets, no matter where it's located. When you do so, you can ask the spirit associated with the trinket one question. The spirit appears to you and answers in a language it knew in life. It's under no obligation to be truthful. And it answers as concisely as possible, eager to be free. But also considering it doesn't have to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And you're stealing it to enhance yourself.
Well, the thing is, you're taking it from something that dies near you. So it's really supposed to be implying you're taking it from your enemies.
Yes.
So, I mean, like, that's, I guess, like, yes, if you took it from a lot of innocent people, like, just random people that were, like, dying in a horrible thing, I could understand how that seems kind of horrible. But, like, if you're taking it from, like, oh, that orc over there, a little bit of his soul.
Right, but with the actual revive class, is like, you can try to basically speak with the dead. You can get a temporary skill from it, stuff like that. It was a lot more benign.
It was benign in nature, but I do have to say, like, the revived rogue was not well balanced. I do have to say that as someone that's, like, I know you enjoy it, but, like, the revived nature you got, basically, like, yeah, maybe because I brought it up then, like, the advantages to, and resistance to poison damage, advantages against poison, that's kind of, like, meh, but, like, as much as it is that it's not really a huge gameplay thing, but because there's this role-playing nature to a lot of powers, the fact that you don't need to eat, breathe, drink, or sleep for it is actually an advantage. And the bolts from the grave were kind of really good. I mean, they were really good. Like, they, like, much better than many of the other sneak attack things people had. Now, granted, there are a few that I would say were equivalent to it, so I didn't necessarily mind it. But, like, well, I don't know.
With
like,
this, instead, you get whispers from the grave, or wails from the grave.
Yeah.
Which is okay. Whenever you use a sneak attack,
you can have second thing take damage too.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like, it's okay. The bolts from the grave, you're giving up your sneak attack to do the sneak attack damage
as a ranged attack.
Which you could just do a ranged sneak attack.
Yeah, and it's a ranged spell attack. But the thing is, it uses dexterity still. So I mean, it's not like it's much different than a ranged attack that could sneak attack.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is the bolts from the grave wasn't really overpowered.
But it was in a way, because it's immediately after you use a cunning action, you can do that, and it's a bonus attack.
Yeah, you still get your regular attack, and then you can do if you can do a cunning action, which normally you can.
You add your dexterity modifier to attack and damage rolls. It takes necrotic damage equal to your sneak attack. You can't use your sneak attack for turn. But the thing is,
it's also necrotic. So
one of those things in 5th edition is attack economy is really critical. Yeah. Because, like, things tend to be a little tanky. The more attacks you can get in, and the more dice you can get in, the better. And because the nature of it means that there could be other things that could enhance those dice. Like,
yeah, and also the way I built my character too, with being a warlock, I Eldritch Blast, and then I can do bolts from the grave on top of it.
Now, granted, like, I think, like, the necrotic wasn't bad, but, like, switching it to psychic damage, that's kind of interesting. Like, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, but at the 17th level, Capstone really makes it nice, because then it's where is it
for Phantom or Revive?
Phantom,
because then it's all psychic damage.
It's all psychic damage to both targets. But the thing also is, you have to do it to 2 targets, where
instead of
with
1.
bolts in the grave, I could focus. If we are only fighting 1 enemy, it's useful. With this, if you're only fighting 1 enemy, it's not really useful.
Yeah, like, the thing is, like, if I can compare some of the things, like the Connect with the Dead, where you're effectively using Speak with Dead, and you're getting things like the tokens.
Right, and you still have whispers. You still have Whispers of the Dead, which basically.
But like I'm saying, like the Tokens of the Departed is kind of like a different version of Speak with Dead, but it also gives you advantage on Death saving throws and Constitution saving throws, which is actually pretty good.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, it's not the same flavor.
Yeah, no, I feel like the flavor it's got some of the same, like, a little bit of the same flavor, but they kind of, like, I feel like they tapered it a little bit more away from just a general to more specific, because they're kind of, like, going into, like, you know, things that are dealing with ghosts and Shadar Kai, and, like, groups that are actually on, like, Forgotten Realms and Eberron. That might work with these
and
kind
you
of things.
get, and your 13th level ability, you get Ghost Walk.
Oh no, like I have to say, like both of them have very big, interesting things. Like, as I feel like, I felt like if we looked at the Revived as a subclass, it didn't need a huge amount of editing. Probably there were little things of like you know, like maybe the Revived nature as an extra thing at 3rd level wasn't. It was a little too much, you know. They didn't need that. But
I could see taking that out. I still would have took the class, but looking at the Phantom compared to the Revived, I wouldn't have taken the Phantom.
And I can understand that.
It's not where, like, the Revived really sparked, you know, my interest of, you know, maybe with the past lives and stuff like that. That's what gave me my whole idea for my character. Where this is completely, flavor-wise, is completely different.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. Like, that one is more like, you know, someone that's died and come back. It's someone that's been revived in some way, or like reincarnated. And this is more like, I'm dealing with ghosts.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm dealing with the souls of the dead in a different way. Where that one is more, I've been reincarnated several times, and I have bits and pieces of those previous lives.
Yeah. You've been reincarnated, or you were dead at some point in time, or somehow you were connected with the dead, instead of, like, you're just checking out and hanging out with the dead. No, I get how it has a very different feel to it. I definitely agree with you completely on that one. That it is a different one. And I understand, like, though the flavors are completely different, like, if we're talking strict mechanical, I don't know. Some parts of the Phantom I actually do like better. Some parts I do understand how it looked better on the Revived. It's a kind of hard thing. I feel like they're almost separate.
I feel like they're two different...
Yeah. Two different things with a very similar flavor.
Yeah, I'm like, to me, it's like, it's not a Revisited Revived, it's a completely different subclass.
And I can definitely see that. Other than
that was my main thing that I wanted to get out there, because I was just like, I'm playing one of these, and this does not seem the same.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, the other two seem relatively the same flavors.
Yeah, let me get the thing out here for us to check out. I'm just trying to, like, throw them in for comparison. The Noble Genie, I actually think some parts of it are better. Like, the idea that, like, before it was just, it's a genie, but now, like, you not only have a patron genie, which gives you spells, each of them also gives you, like, spells for what kind of genie it is, and that makes a difference.
And that makes more sense, too. I mean...
Because, like, it's like you were getting multiple spells at every level of the expended list before, but now it's like, oh, okay, I get, like, one for just being a genie, and then one for being, like, oh, it's an Ifrit, so I get some fire spells.
Right. It makes more sense, because, you know, whatever genie patron you're using is going to be more focused on their element.
Yeah.
So that makes total sense. You know, you're not going to have a genie that is going to give you powers. You know, you're not going to have an earth genie who's giving you air powers.
Mm-hmm. Now, granted, like there are some things like they got rid of the what like they call the Collector's Call and the Genie's Entertainment. They kept the they have like a Sanctuary Vessel, then Limited Wish, and Limited Wish I think is kind of neat that you can kind of just call maybe on the actual spell Limited Wish. I feel it's better in a way because it's simpler, and I think sometimes that's much better. Granted, like, you know, I think there was a little bit more flavor of like it's like sending a creature to your patron's court. That seems neat, but it's also just weird. And like, you know, like the collector's
Can I do that to the boss?
Yeah.
Hey, go visit my patron.
And the collector's call where you just sacrifice like treasure and stuff. I'm like, that's okay.
To me, that would be almost more of a dragon's thing than a genie.
Well, I think it's supposed to be like you can regain it or you can sacrifice treasure to gain it back again. And I'm like, okay, yeah, and it's like interesting little things, but I feel like the wish is a lot cooler. Now, granted, they do say you can't use this again after 1d4 long rests, so it's like it does take a lot longer than normal to regain the ability of limited wish.
But it's still a wish spell.
Yeah, even though it's like, yeah.
Even though it's limited, it's still a wish spell. That's pretty powerful.
You speak your desire to your genie's vessel, requesting the effect of one spell of 6th level or lower that's casting out. Now, granted, it is only a spell, but 6th level or lower is a powerful spell.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, the thing is, for me, as a GM...
Also, remember, we're looking at a warlock?
Yeah.
Where warlocks don't get to cast a lot.
And the thing I was going to say is, as a DM, I would definitely be like, if you could ask for something of equivalent to 6th level, I might be willing to do it if it's not an exact spell. You know?
Yeah.
It's the entire thing of, like, because it's supposed to be, like, oh, small wish. I would totally do that. You know, if it was cool, like, if you, like, came up with something cool that I felt like, if you could compare its power level to a 6th level spell.
Yeah.
So, well, I feel like it's for the better for that one. Then, like, we switched out from the Archivist
to Order of Scribes.
Yeah. So, let me just make sure I have this side by side for comparisons. There it is.
Ooh, I like Awakened Spellbook.
Yeah, they got some interesting ideas here for, like, things.
I think one of the nice parts of the Awakened Spellbook is the second part, which is when you cast a wizard's spell with a spell slot, you can temporarily replace its damage type with the damage type of another spell in your spell book.
Mm-hmm.
As your spell magically alters the spell's formula for its casting. So it's like, you know, oh, I'm fighting something that's, you know, fire resistant or immune to fire. It's an acid ball then.
Yeah. And you make your spellbook effectively sentient too, which is kind of silly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. If necessary, you can replace the book, of course, of a short rest using the Whispery Quill to write Arcane Sigil in a blank book. And that's the thing is, like, it does break away from the need, like, the connections to the spellbook as it being, like, as critical. Granted, you don't get a lot of other abilities that another, like, spellcasting thing is, but it makes it that, like, yes, I have a spellbook, but if my spellbook's lost or destroyed, guess what? I'm the type of wizard that can replace it and doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Which you do have DMs out there who will try to screw over a caster in that way. So...
yeah. Because it's sentient, it's like, you, like, use your art... Because they also have, like, this magic quill. They use the quill to, like, enchant a book, and at the end of this, like, rest, a long rest... the spellbook's consciousness that you created as being part of this, like, subclass, transferred there with all the spells.
Yeah. Ooh, easier to make 6th level. You can make scrolls easier.
Yeah.
Well, you can make one during when you finish a long rest.
Yeah. Then you're able to conjure forth the mind of your awakened spellbook. Tiny spectral construct. That's kind of neat.
That's interesting, yes.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. And you can teleport swap places while you're holding your book. A spectral mine is manifest. You can kind of swap with it.
Nice.
And if you die and at least one spell remains in your spell book, you can return to life 1 minute later within 5 feet of your book.
Oh god.
At
14th level, yeah. I just saw that. Your connection to your awakened spell book becomes so profound that your soul has become entwined with it.
Yeah. So you do have to, like, you lose spells from your book, which kind of sucks. But as a wizard, since you can scribe spells into your book, I mean, like, theoretically you should be doing that anyway. You should be looking for ways to scribe scrolls into your book. Well, if you die, you're revived 1 minute later within 5 feet of your book. You revive with 1 hit point, and you roll 3d6, and your book loses spells of your choice that have a combined level equal to that roll or higher.
But the thing is, you're also, with the 6th level ability that you can make scrolls, 1 per long rest, that would probably be one of the spells you would choose, so you can then scribe it back into your book.
Actually, no. They do say something about that. The unfortunate thing is you're incapable of casting those lost spells, even if you find a scroll for them.
Oh,
You have to use a wish spell to get them back.
That's when you turn to your genie.
Well, that's a limit, still. And
that's when you turn to your genie warlock you go, hey, can you help me out here?
And you just no. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, the actual wish spell as it is, which, like, you're pretty close to casting it at 14th level. You have 7th level spells. You're not quite there yet. And you just need 3 more levels before you're casting wish.
Yeah.
It's good to protect you, and yes, it sucks, but you do get to choose spells. So I mean, like, I would feel like Order of the Scribe. Fluff your book with a lot of crap spells. You know, just take a lot of stuff that you're not really critical on.
Basically, anytime you have a chance to buy scrolls, buy them, scribe them into your book, even if it's a spell you normally wouldn't use,
or you don't think you would ever use it. It's so situational.
Yeah. Just so you have them as an emergency backup.
Like water breathing and you're in a desert adventure. Go ahead and take it, because guess what you can do? If you die, you could just permanently lose it. And if you get to a point where it matters, hopefully you'll get to a 17th level and start being able to cast Wish and get those spells back. Because the Wish spell, as far as I can tell here, you don't have to use anything for it. It is, they do have limited the wish a lot more, and like bad things can happen if you cast a wish that's beyond the power. So rather than casting money or experience points to cast wish now, I didn't realize it's if you do something that's not within the basic purviews of the 9th level spell, which is mostly recreating 8th level spell or lower and similar things, or temporarily creating an object. You can create you can create 25,000 gold pieces in value of object that isn't a magic item.
I make a diamond.
Yeah. I mean, like, but I'm pretty sure when you can start casting Wish, money doesn't really matter. And they do say there's like a lot of failure potential for it and things like that, and other stuff that happens with wishes. But regardless, still, if you get to be a wizard at that level and can cast it, you can get those back. If you wanted to learn them back, you still have to scribe them again.
Oh god, yes. Yeah. I'm looking at the negatives. The stress of casting a spell to produce any effect other than duplicating another spell weakens you. After enduring this stress, each time you cast a spell or finish a long rest, you take a D10 necrotic damage per level of that spell. Damage can't be reduced or prevented. In addition, your strength score drops to 3, if it isn't 3 or lower already, for 2d4 days.
And you can, for each of those days you spend resting and doing nothing more than light activity, your remainder of recovery time decreases by 2 days. Finally, there's a 33% chance that you're able to cast Wish ever again if you suffer this stress. So if you go above and beyond what Wish can normally do, which they give you this list of alternates.
Yeah, creating an object of 25,000.
20 up to 20 creatures regain hit points and effectively greater resurrection. 10 creatures resistance to damage type you choose. Single
you do a single recent event.
Yeah.
Forcing a reroll made within the last round, including your last turn. You may that's pretty much, and then wishing a spell.
But all of those weaken you, though. Those are the alternates they mention, and then above and beyond, because remember, unless it's reproducing a spell, it can weaken you.
It weaken you.
Yeah. So yes, those are really good things, like, because the thing is, you grant up to 10 creatures immunity, or, like, 10 creatures resistance to a damage permanently. Yeah,
you could make yourself and all your companions immune to a Lich's life drain attack.
Yeah. But that's the immunity for 8 hours. So it's only 8 hours. But, like, the resistance is permanent. It doesn't mention a time period. So it'd be like, we're going to be in a campaign that, like, our last adventure here for our last 3 levels, getting to 20th, involves a lot of fire. Wish, immune to fire. Just let me, or resistant to fire.
Resistant to fire, yeah.
Let me rest up for a while. Can I maybe not cast Wish again? Yeah. But that might be worth it.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to go fight demons.
Yeah, or something like that, or something like when you got an idea of like what kind of damage and giving that resistance. It's very powerful. Or like you could use it as that last like big heal on everybody, greater restoration, heal everybody full hit points. You know, you're like, I'll save everybody. My strength is 3. Anyway, so Archive is pretty cool. Now we've talked about Wish. Is it better? I mean, Order of Scribes. Is it better than Archivist? I, for the life of me, don't even remember what the hell the Archivist did. So
let me see. Archivist 5e. On it.
Archivist tradition.
Yeah, you got. Oh no, that's artifact. Why did it happen?
I probably am spelling things really badly. That might be it here. I don't know if this is the one from frickin' Unearthed Arcana. Like, trying to, like, I can find the full-on Unearthed Arcana list. Yeah, I'm just trying to, like, quickly, like...
Yeah, I'm trying to find it quickly, too, and it's like... I type Archivist and it's coming up with a bunch of other stuff, and I'm like,
because I think other people have done more stuff on Archivist. So regardless, though, which the unfortunate thing is, like, I can't find it in the moment. This one's an interesting one. Let's move on, though. You know, we can worry about it at another time because we do have more topics to hit up. Paizo's thrown out some stuff. Let me actually throw out images while we talk about this one because, hey, I got some for this one. So, we've got an announcement for Pathfinder 2nd Edition Bestiary 2. I'm always excited about this one. I love a good bestiary. I do have to say, bestiaries are always a fun thing, like, or even monster manuals if we're talking, like, how D&D would refer to them as. More creatures is always fun. Like, I did have plenty of weird complaints about, like, 3rd edition and their monster manuals because they had a lot of them and ran out of ideas. I think Pathfinder did a good job on doing multiple bestiaries in original Pathfinder because a lot of what they did is when they would seemingly run out of ideas, they fluffed it with, like, oh, here is alternate ogres. Like, here's, like, all the, like, ogre clans, you know, things like that, or orcs, or, like, you know, one of the groups that would have, like, more than just your standard of them. They gave alternates to them, and I think that was a really good thing to do. So...
I want to find a glass golem.
Is there one in here?
Yes.
Oh, I can see the alphabetical
on
listing.
page 35.
I can sort of look at the bestiary pages, but I don't have like a very
You
good
can
zoom.
click on them and then zoom in.
It's not letting me zoom in when I click on them.
It's letting me do it.
Yeah, I can see the glass golem
There's
though.
a bunch of dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs are always cool.
Demons. Ooh, a dread wraith.
Yeah, they got a lot of neat stuff in here. And like there's some ones like they got Jabberwock, some giants, some dragons, the Grendel, Morlocks, Ravners, which were a different type of undead dragon that
Okay, I don't want to fight a
Pathfinder
giant.
had.
I don't want to fight a giant tick.
Ooh, they have giant tick back? Nice.
Giant tick.
Yeah, man.
Now
Giant ant, giant badger, giant chameleon lizard, giant cockroach, giant crab. The giant crawling hand. Oh, I remember that one.
Giant dragonfly nymph.
Oh, that was a good one too. Giant. Is that a hippopotamus or hippocampus?
Hippocampus.
Oh, it's the seahorse monster.
Ooh, giant badger. Poke it with a spoon.
Ah, man. Giant mosquito. Nice. And giant wolverine. Ah, man, there's some good stuff here. I mean, it's really silly, but there's some good stuff here. Ice golem.
Giant white-tail centipede.
Whiptail.
Whiptail.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, that's some really neat stuff in there. I don't know why you can zoom in and I can't.
Gray ooze. You have to hit Alt and use the scroll button on your mouse. It should zoom in the web page.
When I clicked on them to see the image and I press Alt to do that, it will not let me do that.
Huh. I don't know. What web browser are you using?
Firefox.
I'm using Chrome.
Ah, damn you, Chrome user, and your advantage at this point in time. You win this one. Oh yeah, yellow musk creeper in here. That's a good one. Normal Wolverine, the wood giant. I'm definitely seeing a lot of two-headed troll. The Hound of Tintalos. It is a monster that was fought by you guys in Carrion Crown in the Lovecraftian adventure. They are a monster from Lovecraft lore. They kind of have teleporting abilities. They're kind of interesting. They were dicks.
How about this serpent folk?
Well, they have all the different types of serpent folk now.
Void zombie.
Good times. So no, it's got a really interesting list of monsters. I'm excited for it. As I said, I love a good bestiary. And I feel like Pathfinder did a really good job of coming up with a lot of interesting monsters that I feel like 3rd edition had some struggling with. Like 3rd edition, it had some cool monsters in some of the bestiaries 2, 3, and 4. But I'm sorry, when in Bestiary 2, or Monster Manual 2, we will always remember the goddamn cloaked ape. That was Monster Manual 2 in 3rd edition. That thing was stupid as all hell. It was magic.
But then we needed a monocle ape, a top hat ape, and a caned ape.
That's what we always made up, that there was other versions of it, because it was it was cloaked ape. It was flying squirrel ape, except it was also a magical beast, so it had damage reduction, spell resistance. I'm like, why the hell?
Wait. You combined all those that I've just mentioned with the cloak ape, and you get the gentleman ape.
You're a transformer.
The most fierce ape of all. No, it's oh god.
It's Voltron.
Oh, I'm thinking what's his name? Flash enemy. Gorilla Grodd? Yeah. You create Gorilla Grodd.
But anyway, so regardless, though, Pathfinder always had a much better selection of stuff when it came to alternate bestiaries. They were pretty good at throwing out stuff that made sense. And the thing is, if all they're going to do is recreate a lot of what they had before and maybe put a few new things in here and there, I'm down with that. That's the thing I got to say about it. I'm down with it. It's a lot better than converting, which converting kind of somehow gives me a headache sometimes because it doesn't... It's like converting from 3rd edition to 4th edition, it's not easy. 3rd edition to 5th edition, they're pretty close. Pathfinder, 1st edition, 2nd edition, they have some differences between them. Just a few.
I'm just looking at the pictures of the serpent folk right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're like... Certain things they can't recreate in Pathfinder because they are specifically D&D, and I think like the Yanti are one of them. I'm surprised sometimes, like, you can't do Mind Flayers, you can't do Beholders.
That's what I was thinking.
You can do Blaze, which is I always thought was a weird thing. Or Owlbears, or Ankegs. These things, which are, like, also just completely made up by Gary Gygax, can be redone. I'm like, it's curious. I would like to see some point the list of D&D monsters that are specifically copyrighted under D&D. I would like to see that list some point. I'm just curious.
You think Bulle would be?
That's like some of them. The Ankeg, the Owlbear?
Yeah, Owlbear, definitely.
But it's not.
Such a weird creature.
Like, I can freaking, like, go to the Pathfinder Bestiary here and look up a goddamn owlbear, and it's in here, and I'm like,
I'm playing, the Kingmaker.
Yeah.
I fought a crap ton of owlbears in that. I fought a giant primeval owlbear that was, like, the size of a building.
Yeah, like, there's certain, like, things in here. I'm just so... it's like, I don't know where the lines go either way, and I'm just curious always constantly about where it is. But anyway, moving on, which, noting for you people watching today, I don't have Divinity 2 because one of us is down and out currently, so we might go a little later today. We'll just try to get everything done in a reasonable time. PaizoCon, the events have been listed. I'm just going to kind of like throw this out here. I was going to keep it brief because we did talk about PaizoCon already. Like, because they were physically going to have a convention anyway, I feel like they're the ones to like talk about, like of the transition kind of necessary. They got the list of their online schedule up and running, which is kind of awesome. There it is.
I think they're at least, compared to some of the other ones, I think they're doing a lot of right things by, they're doing a lot of games.
They're making it feel like an actual convention.
Yeah.
They have their, like, their show floor on Paizo, on the official Paizo from Twitch, which they have, like, their, like, events. And then they got a lot of other side things going on, too. With, like, all the games and stuff, as you were saying, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that really, makes you feel like you're still kind of doing a con.
And in this case, extending it to, like, to 6 days makes sense, because it is an online thing. That way, like, when you're at a normal con in 3 days, there might be, like, 4 or 5 stages, where you could have these things. Yeah. At least 2 or 3. Since you can't have that many, having 6 days where you could spread out that stage worth of stuff on the one stage you have, it works then, I think. So
yeah. No, I think I think they're doing everything right here. I mean, yeah, it's starting on a Tuesday, going through a Tuesday 5/26, going through Sunday 5/31.
Yep. Now, granted, they have the closing ceremonies at 1 p.m., but then they have some live play stuff afterwards, so they're not, like, completely giving it, so that ends that day, but it's neat. And I just kind of wanted to throw it out there that they got this schedule here. You can actually check it up on Paizo's blog, on their site, for the full list of PaizoCon if you're interested in being it. And they do have links to their organized play that you can get involved with, too. We talked about that before, but, I wanted to throw a little bit more of it out there because, hey, good on them. Let's talk about something from Free League Press. They're doing Twilight 2000. Now, this is...
I'm unfamiliar with it.
Yeah.
Because I was reading, it's like, this is the 4th edition. I'm like, oh.
The thing is...
I've never heard of it before.
First edition was in 84. Second edition, 90. 2.2 edition, 93. Twilight 2013 came out in 2008. So it still is 12 years ago. So yeah, it is the 4th edition of the Twilight RPG franchise that we're seeing here. Let me throw the image up here. That is not the right one. I hate when I do that. When I try to get the wrong screen up for the image for all you guys out there. I want to have it nice, and so you can see this, that their little banner that they got here.
So it definitely looks like it's a World War II role-playing game?
Aftermath of World War III, the Twilight War. The premise is the United States / NATO and the Soviet Union Warsaw Pact fought a lengthy conventional war followed by a limited nuclear war with all its consequences. The characters are survivors of that war. Adventures in Twilight 2000, they're typically, you're a military unit, you're in Central Europe after the nuclear war, and it's supposed to depict realistic military and social systems after nuclear war, is what it kind of was doing. So this was the Cold War going to a hot war kind of RPG. That was the kind of idea of it.
Okay, yeah.
That was the original setting. It's supposed to be Cold War.
And the game also offers an alternative Swedish setting.
It's kind of silly. Yeah.
As well as tools for placing anywhere in the world.
And the thing is, like, they've revised the settings little bit by bit as, like, things have gone on. To kind of, like, create alternate settings. Oh, God. I'd seen, like, one of these RPGs that there was a Cadillac and a Dinosaur RPG as I was looking at classic RPGs, because that was a cartoon that was a really weird cartoon back in the 90s, 80s. Apparently, they did a version of it using the Twilight 2000 rules. That's something for you. But this is the latest version of it, effectively. So it is an apocalyptic thing.
It's a hex crawling system?
Yeah. It's set in the year 2000, devastating by a war, an alternate timeline where the Moscow coup of 91 succeeded and the Soviet Union never collapsed. So, like, the Soviet Union didn't... the things in history didn't happen. So it's an alternate timeline. Kind of like how nowadays Shadowrun is an alternate timeline, but it's being set in a possible future.
Yeah.
They're using a lot of the stuff back from the first edition, that kind of 80s feel of it. They're not doing a lot of the extended crap that came up with the Twilight 2000 universe. They're just keeping to the basics here. Yeah. You take the roles of survivors of World War III, soldiers, or civilians. That's cool that they have both those options. Since the original RPG focused on more being the soldiers, the idea of using the civilians too is a pretty good one. Yeah. So, yeah, hex crawling system. So it's the same that they have in Forbidden Lands RPG Mutant Year Zero.
Yeah.
They're using their same system building that. The 0-0 engine is what they're using the core rules on, but they're adapting it to fit 2000. So it's like, God, it would be comparing back in 3rd edition 3.0 to D20 Modern. D20 Modern was an adaptation of 3.0 rules. You could see the core of it in there, but it was its own rule set.
Right.
And it's the same way here. That's a deep cut nerdy reference, but that's the good way of describing it. You know, it's the same similar rule system. It's just an adaptation of it. They're gonna give more about it, like as they're planning an early release in 2021 and a Kickstarter for it in August. So we'll probably talk about this more, the 4th edition of Twilight 2000. But it's cool that they're bringing back a classic RPG franchise. More power to them, and it's one that is it's an interesting setting, definitely. I'll give them that. Cool. Anything else for you on this one, Joe? Or
no?
Let's talk about some Small World. So first thing is Small World 2. They're getting beta testers to improve it. This is the Small World. They have a game out on Google Play, Steam, or iPad, and this is kind of like their big, like... I don't know if it's going to necessarily be an update to the original one or a sequel. it really don't say very well how it is.
Well, the other thing is too.
Well, it's going to be released on iPhone too. Yeah, so like the original Small World game.
Yeah. When you also go into the beta test information, they also have a beta test for Pandemic going on too.
Yeah, I mean,
for the phone app.
Up Small World on Steam. Okay, so it's interesting because Small World 2 is what it is on Steam automatically. And there's a beta test for updates on it. So I get this kind of weird feeling that what happened is, and this is a weird one that I didn't even know about until now, the online app version is their sequel to the tabletop version?
Interesting.
That's what it feels like. Because it's called Small World 2 on Steam, and there doesn't seem to be Small World 1. I mean that, like, when I looked up Small World on Steam, Small World 2 is what showed up, and there was no Small World 1.
Yeah, I'm actually going to join the Steam one.
Yeah. I got some people that own
Apparently, there's no more beta tests keys for the Pandemic one for Steam or Android, only iOS.
Yeah, because that's what it is. It's been on Google Play, Steam, and iPad, and it's finally getting released on iPhone, which is kind of weird that I would think that if it's on iPad, you could also have it on iPhone, but I don't know these things.
Yeah, you'd think the iStore would include both, but it might have been because screen sizes, just like Roll20 didn't really work on the phone before.
Yeah. But like them doing some beta testing is cool, and like advancing stuff and going to places. But also, speaking of Small World, rather than just go on to that one there, hey, there is a new version of Small World of Warcraft. I mean, I feel like this is both like a weird one, but also kind of like an obvious like tie-in for Small World.
Yeah.
The joke is right there. I mean, it really is. It's like, it's right in front of your face. I'm sorry. Let me grab a drink. Yeah, so they're combining Small World mechanics with, of course, the Azeroth, the World of the Warcraft world that Blizzard has. And, you know, as marketing ploys go, this is not a bad one. I'm not going to argue with that one. So it's powers and races of the Warcraft universe. So, I mean, it's got its own thing. It's got from what I can see here, it's kind of got, like, separate little, like, almost islands for building it up, and I'm not sure if they're like actual islands or if they kind of combine together. It has 6 double-sided boards, 16 races, 182 matching airlock tokens, Murloc tokens, 20 special powers, 5 player summary sheets, 12 artifact legendary placeholders, 10 mountains, 9 will-o-wisps, and a bunch of other like stuff like that. Like, the double-sided boards, I'm curious as to how well they, like, are they combining together? Are they separate? Now, the thing that I have to say wrong, like, is about this one, is this retail is $60. That's a lot for this. Normally, I thought, like, a Small World was a little cheaper, just saying.
Yeah, I thought it was normally, like, 40.
Mm-hmm. And more like 40. Yeah. So, like, but that's the suggested retail price in North America is $60. So
maybe because of the tie-in.
The tie-in, it might make it more expensive. And I don't have Small World next to me to compare it to see what, like, how many races are and powers are in Small World.
I don't have the original. I have the second, the Small World under
Yeah, let me check and see here. Let me just grab the rules, because that would probably give me the actual, like, numbers off the top of my head. There we go. Small world. 20 powers, 14 race banners. Okay. So, I mean, I'll give them... They have, like, frickin' 2 extra races. The separate boards might be a thing too, because if you look at it, like, it's 6 boards, and I'm unsure, like, do you have them like separately set up kind of thing, you know, or like they connected together somehow? What's going on with this? The 6 double-sided game boards, I'm curious as to how they do it, but having them separate, I know automatically is going to make it more expensive too.
Yeah, that's true, because then there's more pieces.
And these are large pieces. They're large, like, well-done cardboard pieces, you know, rather than...
Yeah, I'm looking at the pieces right now, what's in the box. And... yeah, instead of a board, it's actually, like, chunks of land that can be arranged, it looks like.
Yep.
So that might be why it's also more money.
Mm-hmm. It's like... And they have a little bit of more of everything in certain ways too. Like, they have a lot more little tokens, it seems like. 1 more victory coins, more character tokens. It's just maybe a little bit more of everything, and then the tie-in.
Right.
Like, Small World, I have to really check, like, what the Small World price would be. Small World on Board Game Geek. That would give me the basic price. Because if it was maybe like $50 there for the tie-in, that's full credits.
$39.99 on Amazon. The list price was $49.99.
Okay, so suggested retail was $50. It's going for like $40.
So it's only $10 more
for a little bit more stuff, and for like something a little different. And also, I'll tell it, you know, it's if you're a big Warcraft fan, bam, I mean, that's going to be like, it's licensed. Okay, so as originally $50, I can understand it. I think, like, when you got the expansion one, though, you got it for like $40, though. The expansion might be cheaper than any of the Underworld that you have. And even the original, like, nowadays, you can get it for $40. So
I think it's Underdark.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it's definitely interesting.
Underground, that's what it was.
Underground. That's it. Underground. Yeah.
Yeah. And that one on Amazon right now is going for $50. Oh, they have a bunch of expansions I didn't know about, though.
Oh, the Small World has a bunch of expansions. Yeah, I knew they came out with more expansions. I just didn't know how many expansions.
Yeah, there's Small World, River World, Small World, Sky Islands, Small World, Realms of Expansion, Small World, Grand Dames Expansion, and Spider's Web.
And there's a 6-player board you can get, too. So, like, normally it's up to 5 players. Yeah, like, you can get the Be Not Afraid and Spider's Web together, it looks like. And then there's they got 2, like, combining small, power packs, that they combine the smaller ones, it looks like. And then Realms.
Oh, wow.
River Worlds, Sky Islands.
The Spider's Web mini one is going for $69.99.
That's why you get the power pack. The power pack has it in there, part of it. Like,
yeah, I was just like, oh.
They do have a couple special expansions. Yeah, well, I guess it's out of print, you know? That's one thing you have to think about.
Oh, yeah, also one left in stock.
Yeah. So, yeah, so, like, the power packs that you can get now, I remember we talked about the power packs, so they're, like, combines of little miniature things, but, like, the big ones are, like, the Realms, the Sky one, and the River ones, I think, are the big expansions that they've put out since then.
Oh, wow. Well, Realms is $188 on Amazon.
Damn.
Yeah.
Might also be out of stock.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It might be an out of print.
That's the problem. Is if it's out of print.
Yeah, they only have 2 left in stock.
Yeah, no, it's like you have to think about how long Small World's actually been out. It's been out for quite a while now. So the expansions have been out for quite a while also, but
yeah.
But Small World of Warcraft is going to be, what's the date for releasing it? Or is it out now? I'm going to visit the store page for more information. I was on the store page. I'm an idiot sometimes. I can't tell if it's out now or not because
James, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out, like, is it out now? Do you say it's out now? I can't tell. I keep missing where they say. Okay, no, it's not. Available summer 2020.
Okay.
They have it, like, in the middle
should be out soon.
Yeah, it's in the middle of a paragraph, basically. It's like, get all this information, and they're also like, also available summer 2020. It's like, and then they move on to something else. I'm like, you are not good at letting people know stuff, Days of Wonder.
No.
Then again, you are a subsidiary of Asmodee, so...
Asmodee.
Yeah. Your soul is ours. Anyway, that's some Small World news. Let's talk about another RPG expansion. Hey, Pax Londinium for the Luminel RPG is out. So it's... we've talked about... Oh, God, I messed with everything. I broke it all. No!
Uh-oh.
Don't worry, I'll fix it. Probably. I was trying to, like, get the image up, and it broke everything for a second. But it wasn't as bad as that breaking where, you know, it really breaks everything. For reasons. There, Pax Londinium. It's up. Everybody can see it. I'm semi-professional. I can throw these things up pretty well. Semi. What kind of game is Luminel? Oh, it's under their horror series. Great! Because I'm trying to, like, look up the original book here, like the core book, and put it out for, you know, this one. And I'm like, oh, what section is it under for Modiphius' RPGs? Horror! Yeah, that's a... I forgot it was technically, like, supposed to be under the horror. So it's a, like, this is, like...
Oh, yeah, you got the Ancient Vampire, Fey Courts, Ghost Realms.
Yeah. It's supposed to be, like, this, like, hidden world in the UK of, like, vampires, werewolves, wizards, mages, spirits, and stuff like this. You know, that's what it's supposed to be. So it is supposed to be kind of modern, but it's supposed to be about this, like, hidden world under the surface of everything. And this is the book that's all about London. So it includes, like, because it's supposed to be, like, this kind of, like, United Kingdom, European kind of setting, you know, originally. You know, pushing it forward to this place. So, players portray liminals. People who stand between the mortal and magical realms. Wizards who warden to break the mysterious. Half-fays, burglars who steal supernatural wealth, a werewolf, a dampier, mortal detective who knows there's something really strange out there. Those are, like, examples of characters. Quickly, just basics. We probably already went over that before. So it's like, no matter what you do, do not breach the Pax Londinium over themes. Yeah, so like the dragons, the Fey Courts, ghost realms, ancient vampires, pig-headed lady, malevolent benign beings, and every place in London. To explore the culture and strangeness in the basically liminal version of London. Here it is.
Now, is she actually pig-headed, or is she just stubborn?
It could be both. It's 90 pages, full color. It has the liminal system that was already established in the previous book, the core book, which is a 2d6 system, with the option of spending will to boost results. This liminal self-contained role-playing world. So that's basically, you're going to have to know about that. It's meant to be self-contained within the United Kingdom, kind of like... I'm guessing there's magical worlds that are everywhere, but like the way they set up liminal is really meant to be a very British game.
Yeah.
You're going to have to say that. Like... Not that I'm saying, like, if you wanted to spend the effort, which you had the core book, to adapt it to another country or something, knock yourself out. Just, it's just difficult writing. We'll put it that way. But Pax Londinium is meant to be played with the core rulebook. And as usual, If you get the PDF, you get a code that in the future, if you want a print version of it, you get a price offset of it. Because normally, most of the time, when you get a physical book from Modifius, they usually give you a PDF version of it too, because they're kind of awesome. Not all of them. I think some of them do. I believe. Didn't they?
I think so.
If you ordered it through their site, I think maybe. I think some of them did. God. Yeah, PDF copy included. Look, I bought my Star Trek book, and I don't think I got a PDF copy. Maybe there's a code for it that I missed somewhere. Balls.
Probably.
Damn it. It's probably long since gone. Or, like, it's just somewhere in this book, and I've never found it, or something stupid like that. Regardless, though, if you bought it through their site, that's when you get it. That's why they want you to buy it through their site. Anyway. Or something. But regardless, though, yeah. I don't know what I was going to go with that after that little thing there. I think that's about it for Liminal. It's supposed to be like a modern fantasy horror kind of thing. You know, kind of like how World of Darkness is supposed to be very horror. It's kind of got that along those lines, except it's its own kind of like unique world. And this is introducing you to London. So it's a core book. I'm going to call it book, a source book that is really big in the United Kingdom. So I mean it's yeah.
So my question is, if things go really off the rails and London's in trouble, can you say London's fallen?
Yes, you can. Renegade Con. Let's talk about that.
Bad joke ignored.
I ignore so many bad jokes. Special ability, bad joke ignored.
Your jokes.
My jokes are always awful and should be ignored. I will never deny. Okay, so this is a big trend. I really wanted to put it like, it's got free tickets, and this seems to be a big thing that's happening with a lot of companies now, is that because, like, Gen Con and Dragon Con, and I think Gen Con's been canceled? Probably? Gen Con 2020? Is it canceled?
I just like how it says free tickets on sale now.
They haven't technically canceled Gen Con yet. So they might have it. But it's probably going to be really different because of everything going on anyway.
When's Gen Con?
75 days.
It'll probably get canceled.
It is 2 months, though. 75 days is 2 months. That is technically, I think that's early August, actually, it's going to be, because it's 2.5 months. By then, theoretically, most things should be open to a degree. Theoretically.
Yes, but, like, okay, giving PA as an example, since I know, the parts of PA that have gone out of red and are in yellow, you still can't have any groups bigger than 25 in a place.
And none of them have figured out ways to do, like, green yet. There's speaking of it, like, to get to the fully opened, but nothing is good. Granted, like, I'll give you. In 2 months' time, we might see parts of Pennsylvania gone to green. We might see all of Pennsylvania go in that direction at that point in time, because the entire idea of us being, like, the super quarantine was less to keep us all safe and more to be like, if you need to be hospitalized, you can, and there will be places for you. That was really more the idea of it, rather than to prevent it, because it's a pandemic. It's really hard to stop it, unless you have a vaccine. So, will Gen Con be canceled? I don't know. It's up in the air, but I think a lot of the cons are worried that it might happen because we lost a lot of cons early on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how bad Indianapolis, Indiana is. Let's see. Gen Con updates on Gen Con COVID-19.
Yeah, that was back in April last time they really put something out there.
April 30th.
Let me check. There is a bunch. United States, New England, PAX East, AppleCon. No, this has got to be not a Mid-Atlantic. It's got to be
Central or Midwest.
East, North, Central. That's where Gen Con is. Because I'm trying to figure out Origins. Origins is the other one, and I don't know. I want to check on Origins because I know that's a big one. And Dragon Con are the big ones that they have. Dragon Con might not be considered tabletop directly. I know Origins is. Origins 2020 is in June, though. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's...
I don't know. They got a 33-day countdown, and I don't know if they've canceled or not. Like, the fact is, I've been talking to our good friends at Arcana Games. I announced their Kickstarter a while ago. They had to cancel it because of the pandemic, but Arcana Games is a game company that's been started by a couple of friends of the show, who I do more like kind of gaming stuff, have done some tabletop stuff like Will, who was in the Madness of the Land. He's one of the people that helped found it. They were going to go to a bunch of conventions and had to cancel a lot of them. So the question is, like, what's going on here? Though, if PAX Unplugged happens, they'll probably show up there and we can go hang out with Will.
Yes.
That'll be awesome. Please not be canceled, PAX Unplugged. Even if, like, it'll be crazy by then, though. I have no idea what the fuck's going to happen.
Dates. Origins Online, 19...
They went to
21.
And Origins Game Fair, 7 to 11.
Yeah, October, 7 through 11.
So they switched to October and have an online one probably when they originally had it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, I went to their website and it says right up top, dates, Origins Online.
I think there's a couple other big conventions, but but the entire thing here is because a lot of the bigger conventions are now having to be canceled, especially in the summer season, or are kind of up in the air. A lot of the bigger, maybe not the bigger companies. I will say like the larger companies, like like Renegade Game Studios, are able to put on their own conventions, or like how we were talking about how like Paizo does their own convention, but now they're doing it online. But like now, like Renegade and like didn't Steve Jackson have one?
Yeah.
And Cryptozoic had one, and there's a couple others that I've heard about now. I just wanted to bring up Renegade Con because we talk about Renegade a bit more than some of the other companies, and use it as an example of being like, hey, yeah, there's all these other conventions that are like there that maybe there's like, you know, they're coming up with these ones that, you know, maybe didn't exist but now do kind of things.
Yeah, and they're going to be doing board game demos, RPG demos, live plays, and learn and play.
I mean, they have a good selection of stuff, so that's good. It's a good company to do it, though. I think, like, Renegade's a good example of a company that has a lot to offer, because they're a company that does a lot of board games that we've talked about, and does some RPGs. I think they're a little newer in the RPG market, I do have to say. That's for sure. But nonetheless, they're in that market now. There you PAX Unplugged.
Oh yeah, Kids on Bikes. I was trying to remember like what board games do they have, or what RPGs do they have? Because we talk about so many different companies and so many different things. Sometimes, stuff combines in my head. Outbreak is another one.
Like, certainly, like, there's also like another thing. Like, I feel like certain, like PAX West, I thought it would have been August. It's in September now. It might have been pushed off a little bit because of all that's going on. And their announcement of when the dates were pushed off.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally possible.
That's right. Now, PAX Unplugged this year is before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
It always had been like the week or 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. Now it's before Thanksgiving. God,
Yeah, it's normally the weekend after or 2 weekends after, and it's like, oh.
Whatever.
But who knows even where we're going to be in November, because, scientists are also saying we could have a second outbreak in the fall.
But also, like, the thing is, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that makes uncertainty in a lot of things. So having online cons like this are probably good to avoid that uncertainty.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing that we kind of have to take away from all of this is that.
Because the thing is, even if you're still like planning to have your online or planning to have an in real con, how many people are going to be paying to go at this point?
I don't know. It might not be as good this year. The thing is, like, this year might not see growth. Like, that's another thing that I didn't even realize because I don't normally check it. There's the Otakon, the anime convention I went to for a lot of years. Now, granted, I haven't been there for, like, 5 years at least. I think it wasn't until they left, it was, like, the year before they left Boston, I stopped going. They canceled this year. And that's, right. Like, that was because, it's one of the big anime conventions on the East Coast here. But a lot of conventions have, like, had to change or things, And they were August and they canceled it. They were the end of July originally, and they canceled it.
They probably just played it safe. They might not have seen the sales, so they're just like, it's not worth trying to.
And I think that there's a difference there between the two types of conventions. Like, we have to see what conventions suffer from this. Like, Gen Con has a lot more money, I think, going into it because they have all the exhibitors who are coming there to show off their products. The anime convention, it's a fan convention more. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, like, if we had things like Star Trek conventions, comic book conventions and stuff like that, like Comic-Con. I'm surprised if we don't see maybe them being lost. Like, Comic-Con is one that I'm like, what the fuck's going on with that one? Wasn't E3 canceled?
I'm not sure. Unless it's a con I go to.
It was canceled. E3 2020 was canceled. Yeah. That's like one of those things. Like
Comic-Con 2020 in San Diego was canceled.
Yeah, there we go. So, like, a lot more, like, even though those are big places for big announcements and stuff, they are still more fan places. Like, I feel like Gen Con, because it has a huge business aspect to it. Like, the big people that go to like, Comic-Con or to E3 have the ability to announce stuff themselves. Gen Con, there's probably a lot of companies that have to announce their stuff through Gen Con. That's the big play they show off or announce their things.
Okay, Comic-Con's going virtual.
So they'll do some kind of virtual con. Let's see what it means for them to go virtual, though. I'm going to be curious as to what it kind of will be. They'll probably try to have a virtual con, but it's probably not going to have the same kind.
It's probably going to just be like the panels and stuff.
Yeah, but like, how much are the big companies going to put forth there?
Yeah.
Like, what will Marvel do for it? Marvel, Disney, like Star Wars, they always put on like big shows and stuff. What kind of show are they going to be? I don't know. But yeah, so virtual conventions, expect more of them coming out. We're gonna see them. It's a thing right now. It's a thing we gotta deal with. I want to talk Maximum Apocalypse. So Maximum Apocalypse is interesting because it's based on the card game, which I don't even know if we talked about, because it's one that's a little older from Rock Manor Games. But the idea is that it's a apocalyptic setting, except rather than just one apocalypse, it's a whole lot of them. So, like, you have zombies, you have the robots trying to murder everybody, you also have aliens invading, it's like all these apocalypses are going on at once, hence Maximum Apocalypse. I mean, they say what they mean. Anyway, so in the RPG, we take the roles of survivors in one of these many apocalypses, adventuring across a ravaged wasteland, attempting to survive the many dangers, surviving, crafting items, scrounging for food, fighting off zombies, alien invasions, killer robots, all that kind of things. It's a deep percentile system, too. I don't see many deep percentile systems. I don't mind them. You do occasionally see them. The Kickstarter's not open, but the page is up.
You can download. They have a pay what you want
for the quick start. Suggested retail price $1. So they do have a quick start up. And as I said, the company was nice enough to send email me a preliminary copy of the book. Yeah. So I have the core book. We'll at least give some more reviews to it. If you want to check out the quick start, it is available now on DriveThruRPG. $1 suggested retail. But if you just want to check it out, see what's about, and check out the RPG and it's for the basics, it's there now. Again, I'm unsure if I will do something on stream or just off stream with a bunch of people that I know, like streamer people, just to test it out or something. Maybe I'll just do that first. I'll be I want to try out a little bit of it, kind of off stream for people and get them and grab them. I can probably find a few and do that. I might do that and plan that. But because it's coming out soon, around when the Kickstarter talks out, probably that's when I'll throw out our review. So by then, which is coming out soon, I would have to check the email I got from them for exact dates. Let me quickly do that.
Okay, so it uses D4s through D10.
They're playing on June 9th. So sometime between now and June 9th, I will probably try to get a group together online here to do a review of it. I don't think it'll have a Roll20, but we'll probably just use Roll20 or something.
Right.
Maybe I'll get Unfunny One, Josh, to help us out. He knows stuff about putting stuff in Roll20.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. So yeah, I've got the draft of the core rulebook. They sent it to me. Very nice of them. Glad they do that, and we'll check it out and we'll let you guys know about it. But if you, again, want to check it out yourself, quick start's up now. Go ahead and check it out. I recommend it. The Rock Manor Games has been a good friend of the show here. They've been on a few times and stuff, and always glad to talk to them. I'll have to see maybe about contacting Mike to see if someone wants to be on again.
I think it's funny, the initials for some of the skills.
Mm-hmm.
Especially ballistic skill is BS.
They probably do that on purpose.
I'm gonna BS that target.
I mean, this game feels over the top just by its entire thing. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's literally called Maximum Apocalypse, where you've got a billion different apocalypses happening, at once. And, everybody trying to survive it. It's crazy.
Mutant disease zombies from outer space.
Yeah.
Ooh, we can play Plan 9 from outer space.
Oh, God, we could. I like the firefighter uses fire. Yeah, literally fights fire with fire. The infinity flames and explosions. Mechanic, gunslinger, searcher. They have really cool rules, too. Priest, Ronin, Veteran, the Thief. Personal apocalypse. The world has been devastated by coming with multiple shattering scenarios. Alien invasion, food riots, kaiju attack, nuclear holocaust, peak oil collapse, robot uprising, seismic cataclysm, supernatural horrors, time paradox, the rapture, and zombie apocalypse.
And the rapture,
Yes, the world has been devastated by combined weight of multiple world shattering scenarios. So there's also giant monsters. I love that too. The nuclear holocaust, mushroom clouds. So they've got a little bit of Mad Max because peak oil collapse, the robot uprising, the seismic collapse, the Earth collapsed literally.
This is ridiculous.
Supernatural horrors, the time paradox problems. I do love the rapture. After trumpets had to sound, the gates of Valhalla were open, and Kali descended to Earth. While Fenders began chewing, you watch as the minions of Jesus continue their eternal war, and zombies.
Well, isn't Jesus the ultimate zombie?
Yes, but that's besides the point. Look, he fits. He fits. You know?
Zombie Jesus never died in my world.
That's a Zombie Steve River one, but thank you very much. I don't know where I came up with that.
My world, it's Zombie Jesus.
I think I just mumbled something and hoped for the best of that original stuff, but that statement. But yes, so Maximum Apocalypse, keep an eye out. It looks really awesome, just because it's crazy, and it looks like a fun crazy, and we'll test it out and let you guys know about it, getting closer to its Kickstarter release or during its Kickstarter release, and we'll also try to get someone from Rock Manor Games on to talk about it. We'll see what we can do. And we have one more topic today that hopefully we can finish up. Altered Carbon, the role-playing game. So the Altered Carbon is a TV series. It's a cyberpunk TV series that has been going on what is it on? Netflix? Yeah.
I have to check that out. I never watched it.
Yeah. I've heard about it before.
I remember we mentioned it before. Yeah, Netflix.
Yeah.
I just never watched it.
They've got 2 seasons and an anime film because Netflix has been funding some anime stuff too. That's set before the first season. They haven't said anything about a 3rd season. Second season was released in February of this year. Let me throw the image up here.
Well, that's also with COVID-19. You know, that has impacted a lot of shows as well because they're not able to film.
Oh, well, hell yeah. Well, that's why, like, things that, like, there's a couple of shows that I know about that, like, they lost episodes. So they had to, like, they technically didn't wrap up storylines.
Yeah. Like, I know one of the Prime shows I watched, their next season is going to actually just be them watching previous seasons and live reactioning to them.
Mm-hmm.
Just so they can put something out.
Yeah. So it's a cyberpunk television series that they're getting, that's had some popularity, and they're getting a RPG based on it. Where any body you can afford, transmit your mind across the cosmos in a minute, and you got the credits and political catch. You can re-sleeve time and again for centuries, accumulate enough wealth and power over the millennia to become a social immortal god. So I would say this is somewhere in between, like, cyberpunk, but it's a little more futuristic. So it's a little bit of if anybody would familiar with anime, Ghost in the Shell, where it's all about, like, the maximum cybernetics, and that, like, people get to the point where, like, you're very little, like, connection to your actual body, kind of things,
right,
is what it gets to.
It's a shell that you can inhabit.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, they've announced this now. It's a very interesting cyberpunk because it's very future. Like, it's 2384. Like, a lot of cyberpunk futures usually take place
near future.
Near future, yeah. And this is like
distant future.
Distant future, yeah. So, yeah, in the future, the person's memories and consciousness are written onto a disc-shaped device called a cortical stack and implanted in the vertebrae at the back of the neck. These versions are of alien design and have been reverse engineered and mass produced and only made from materials of Harlan's world. That's a little confusing. That physical humans or synthetic bodies are called sleeves, and stacks can be transferred to a new body after death. A person can still be killed if their stack is destroyed and there's no backup. Well, it means people could live forever. Only the Manuthos have the means to change bodies through clones and remote storage of their conscious to satellites in which they die or old. So, you know, it's like your average person would have this still too, but you probably still might only have one life because can you get a new body? Can you afford a new body? So there's a lot of crazy shit going on in this world.
Steve Bezos will never die in this world.
God. So they have a pre-order for the standard edition is $50. Kind of basic for a core rulebook. Rules to play archetypes ranging from socialites to soldiers. Exploration of the expansive Metropolis Bay City in both its underground and atrium world. It focuses on the rules, creating a danger of combat, intrigue outside of combat. They've got little basics here. You know, I would like to see more about it. I knew about this series a little bit, but I never really interested me too much. You know,
I'm actually really interested in this now, and I'm probably going to binge watch that later.
Yeah, let me know how it is, like how you think it is.
I love cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Stuff, so this is right up my alley.
I do like a level of cyberpunk, but most of the time, either Netflixy stuff, things like that, like streaming service stuff, it takes me a lot to watch them. Because it's either it's like you have to go to someone that you can use an account for, find them somewhere online, which is not always easy, or pay for it. And, all those options are difficult, and I'm lazy. I'm too lazy to pirate.
I will let you know what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I mean, I'm also a tech geek, so...
Laziness beats criminality. It's the best way to not be a criminal. Be lazy.
Or have morals.
Morals? Jeez. I mean, sure, morals. Totally have those. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't be chaotic neutral. Or evil.
I don't know what you're talking about. Where's my corporal exploits? I mean...
Well, I guess chaotic good might still do it, too, so...
Chaotic good. Chaotic good would do it because they'd be like, fight the system, kind of things like that,
Yeah. Okay, so don't be chaotic.
I mean... I'm pretty much sure I'm more neutral evil, but that's besides the point. Look, I would totally be like, if it would serve my evil and dark purposes, and someone was hanging over a side, I'd be like, bye. I wouldn't step on their hands. I would let them fall naturally. I just wait there and watch.
Walk away.
I just walk. I just wait for them to fall and be like, all right, well they're done. Well, I want to make sure they don't save themselves.
Why don't you just pee on them at that point? I mean...
That's chaotic evil. Thank you very much. No. Look, I'm not going to add insult to injury. They're already going to plummet to their death. I mean... Anyway, hey, we have regular segments. Is the docket working? It's probably not. It's working! Oh my god! Why wasn't it working earlier when I wanted it to be? We don't have a deeper discussion. We didn't review it.
I wonder if it'll let me do it now.
It probably will. Because anybody can use Nightbot for the commands that I put up for it. It's just you couldn't, alter
Yay!
Kickstarter Korner. Did you have one? If you don't have one...
I have a quick mention.
Then give a quick mention.
I bothered while we're... doing the show.
We had a lot, so I didn't bother. There was a couple interesting things, but I'm like, no, don't bother. We had a lot of stuff today.
I found a small, cute one called I Am Death Now. It's a card game that you are an apprentice to death. You're a junior death named Hedwig.
Yep.
And your goal is to kill 5 people before anyone else does. To get your death license.
Gotta get that death license.
So it's an interesting little card game. They're at 11,678 out of their 15,000 goal, which is amazing because they still have 28 days to go. So they've almost meet goal and are barely into it. Base starting pledge is $20, which they're almost out of. Oh no, that's the quarantine special. But $20 quarantine special is a little bit better than the base, I think, because the base is $20 as well. I'm trying to see what the difference between the two are. Oh, free shipping.
Ah.
You can get free shipping for the special right now.
Gotcha.
So it's just flat $20. It's 150 cards, 6 death students, 30 test subjects, 90 pain cards, 24 cheat cards, and an instruction booklet.
Cool.
And then they have, higher pledges. They give you a lot more stuff. But that's the basic stuff. Looks like a little cute, interesting game.
Yeah, sounds neat.
And the artwork is kind of chibi.
All right. Well, I guess that leads us into in this case, our weeks in tabletop.
Yes.
We've had 2. So yeah, we've had 2 weeks. Some things that we didn't do is we only role played really 1 week because we missed the 1 week. I think I missed 3 games the 1 week.
Yeah, last week we missed the Thursday game,
and I missed both the Tuesday games. So I had but I had everything this week. So yeah, but no. If we want to go over the basics of kind of what we did, let's start from the basics. Grinding Gears. We did have a session of that within the last 2 weeks.
Yep, which also, just as an announcement, tomorrow we are having it, and we're switching to weekly after tomorrow, so you'll see us every Sunday.
Yep.
Until our campaign ends. You guys got to your first new world.
Yep.
Bought some maps.
Yeah.
You can actually jump and not have to do it blindly.
Well, most of the time.
Most of the time, yes. There's still areas that it's like, oh, this one hasn't been mapped yet. So blind jump, which you did have to do with blind jump. And you found what seems to be Banner's former homeworld that's been pretty much destroyed and overgrown.
Something like that, yep.
And we left off at you might be trying to explore a basement at one of the destroyed homes.
Yeah, good times.
And find out possibly more about what happened to the Warforged in this place.
Hey, you know what? We'll learn.
So that's where we are in Grinding Gears.
Yep. For Records of Evil, they went home. They left the jungles of Chult. They apparently they had enough of horrible jungles where there was a lot of things that wanted to murder them, and the food was bad, and there was a poop smeared gnome that was living under one of their bunks. He went crazy after all his friends died, and he just started to continue smearing his own feces over his face to hide himself, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they left him off at a hospital though, so he might get help. I mean, seeing all your friends die horribly and rapidly was really bad for the poor guy.
Yeah, it tends to be.
So yeah, he had some problems, and he managed to, live through them. We'll pretend that he lived through them. Mentally, he didn't. Physically, he did.
Spiritually, he didn't.
No. And so yeah, they're planning on the next part, which is actually technical main storyline now. This was stuff that was related to the entire idea that they have to rebuild a cult. That's what this entire adventure was related to. So it was technical main storyline, but it was in order to gain an amulet from a bone naga that they ended up getting killed. So, but
bone nagas.
I know, they're fun to use. And let's see here. And then we had Legacies of Kain, which they are on their last adventure, kind of, that I'm going to be doing in the Legacies of Kain series. Because I'm planning on 5 adventures and then moving on to another Advent of Darkness series. A different World of Darkness. Yeah. Next is I'm planning werewolves. I've said that. But in this one, they are now in Egypt. Because they know somewhere in the Middle East / Egypt is the location of what they're looking for. Basically, the map has given them some hints as to something that they have to find. And they've gone to that area, and they're trying to, like, use the clues that they've gotten from these 3 challenges, which have, like, a vague map on them, but it's really, like, it's like a riddle that basically tells you, like, hey, this is where you kind of find these things. So they're working on that one there, and hoping for the best. It's interesting. And then we had some Children of Wrath.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, Children of Wrath was fun. Again, managed to miss a week on that one, so we only had 1 week to talk about.
Yes, but we explored a library.
Yeah, you explored a library, learned some information that can be helpful, and teleported to another wizarding school. Like, this one's very different than the last one you did. As I said,
we're going back to school.
Yeah, the last one you went to was much more practical because it's in a country of merchants. Of course it's going to be the practical place. Right. This one has extreme, like, magical showings on going around you. And it's kind of crazy. And it's under the water. Built in, like, a hidden tower in the ruins of an ancient, like, place that, you manage to kind of just wander into. Because they let you. But...
And we had a horrible spellcast on.
Yeah.
If we could ever speak about it.
I mean, you've gas set on you.
Yes.
You did. Good times. Let's see. Is there anything major else? We did a little bit of actual, like, tabletop sim. Here and there.
Did we freeze on... Oh, okay. It looked like we froze on stream for a second there.
Let me check how it is on stream.
We're now fine.
We might have had a second of something. Like a hiccup. Could have happened. Hiccups sometimes happen. But yeah, no. What games did we play?
We did Munchkin.
We did Munchkin on Sunday.
Which, we did Munchkin Marvel.
Yes.
Which we learned you really need to do the dungeons with.
You really need to do the dungeons with that. If there are certain cards that if you, like, play with them, you need to do the dungeons. Like, using any of the expansions, you need to do the dungeons. Like, if you just did the base before they put out the dungeons, you'd probably be fine. But there's a lot of material that pertains to them, and the way that they pertain to them, the dungeons really help.
Yeah, the dungeons matter a lot with some of them.
Yeah. So that's what we did learn.
What else did we do? We did something before Munchkin.
Suro. Suro, yeah, we did Suro.
And there was something before Suro. Suro, I got out. I won by the skin of my teeth because I lucked out and had one move left when everyone else fell off the board.
Yeah, everybody else ran out of moves right then and there. I also did, randomly during the week, I did do some tabletop. I did a game of Sheriff of Nottingham, which, I'm just gonna have to say that.
How is the game? I want to try that sometime.
It's fun, but, let me put it this way. Be careful if you play with Lee. Because he likes to try to make really weird deals, which, like, I had to stop him a couple of times because I'm like, you can't actually do that because it's technically not in the rules. And there's a couple of times he was trying to make a deal when he was the sheriff, and I'm like, you're the sheriff! You're getting the bribe! Stop trying to bribe people when you're the one that's supposed to be getting the bribe!
Never!
It was so silly. I mean, like, it ended up, like, certain things ended up getting me screwed. And I was like, God damn it. So I was like, I was totally out of it. And Lindsay was quite angry, too, because, like, Lee's craziness ended up costing her the game. And she played a perfect game where, she played it to the T. So, let me put it this way. One point in time when Lee was trying to bribe someone, he was like, I'm going to bribe you that the next time the next, I'm gonna bribe you that the next time you review my bag, you just let me go.
Oh, that is right. I have played Sheriff.
And then because Lee was next, he's like, well, because you took that deal with me, I'm just gonna let you go. And he did that twice to the same person, and so the next time that the person did that, he's like, I'm letting you. Well, when that person did that, he's like, oh, okay, well, thank you. The next time you go, I'll let you go then. So Lee bribed him without needing to. And then that guy just put through an entire huge pile of contraband. It was like all contraband. Because Lee like said that. When Lee had already made a deal with him, he just offered him more stuff. I tried to explain to him, I'm like, look, there was no allies. He took advantage of you. He wasn't allied with you. You just gave him stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You bribed him not to search you, and then you bribed him even more. I felt it was very silly. Yeah. A little crazy, but very silly. Anyway. I think that was all the just tabletop games we did, because, you know, I didn't have a lot.
Yeah, we had something before Sora, but I can't remember what the hell it was.
Well, it might have been a small card game.
Yeah, it was
Guillotine.
Guillotine, that's right.
We
did like
Guillotine.
2 rounds of Guillotine.
Yep, we managed to get around a Guillotine. That was fun.
Two games, actually.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. And Lynn's kicked butt in the first one.
Yeah.
And they got 0 points on the second one.
I really don't know how she got 0. I am still horrifically impressed that she somehow managed that. How she got that? Ow!
3 martyrs and only 2 positives? 1 with a 2 and 1 with a 1?
Yeah.
Well, I think she saw the writing was on the wall. She's like, I'll just take the other martyr and go back and go down to 0 just because it's interesting. And
yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I'll give it to her that it was an interesting thing. I'm hella impressed by the entire thing, you know, that's what I can say. It's like, I was impressed by that she managed to do that craziness.
Yeah.
More power to her that she managed to somehow pull that off. So.
But yeah, that was our week.
Yeah.
So I guess the only things left is discussion, which we don't currently have a deeper discussion.
Nope. Deeper discussion is kind of clear right now. Well, I just said our week. Consult the table. Yeah. We don't
consult the table. I'm sorry, not this.
Yeah. No, there's nothing really consult us with at the moment. So, hey, yeah. Let's end it here. I would have definitely wanted to end it much earlier if I had Divinity 2, because I would have been starting now. But since I don't, I'm going to go eat some food, and then I don't know what I'm going to do for the afternoon. And hopefully...
Dance.
Maybe. You know, we'll see what's going on with Tiv for tomorrow, too. You know?
Yes. Well, either way, we will still have the game if we have to be a sans Tiv. As sad as that is, we will still play. We still have the majority of the crew.
Yep. As I always say, like, when you have 5 players... You can be down 1 at least without how much trouble. When you have 4 or 5,
and we're not in an area that you guys are getting into a major fight at the moment or anything. So it's not like we're coming back from in the middle of a battle and being like, "Oh well, what happened to Tiv?"
Yeah, he can just be on the ship and just hang out there.
Yeah, he can take the cog back.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's end it here. Thanks everyone who joined us today. It was a fun one. Thank you as usual, Joe, for joining me in this insanity.
Yep. And see everyone tomorrow for some grinding gears.
Definitely. Hopefully everybody can join us next week for more adventures. We'll have a couple more crazy good ones. And is there anything else after that? After next week? RPGs. Expect Records of Evil, Legacies of Kain, Children of Wrath, all to be on schedule. Yep. I guess that's it. Oh, hey, I forget, in our talking about the table, we forgot to mention that we had our Pathfinder 2nd edition where you guys had a Norm destroy everything, destroyed some catapults, and, you know, that was it. and dealt with a big battle that I didn't want to role play out because it would have been too insane. But anyway. Have a good day. See you, everybody.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Goodbye.